is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Welcome to KCAL News at 11 on CBS Los Angeles and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Kalina Estrinos in for Chris Holmstrom. We begin with breaking news in Israel's war with Hamas. Israel says it has killed a top Hamas leader. Israel's foreign minister confirms that Yahya Sinwar is dead and his body was identified after DNA testing. Sinwar was the main architect of the October 7th attacks on Israel. And government officials say he was killed during the battle with Israeli troops in Gaza. Israel had vowed to kill Sinwar since the beginning of the war with Hamas. And we will continue to monitor the situation in the Middle East, and we will bring you any updates as soon as we get them. We also have more breaking news this morning. Arrests in a major international drug ring that operated right here in Southern California. Our assignment desk manager, Mark Liu, is live at the desk with more on that. Mark.
Yeah, Kalina, in a news conference today, the Department of Justice says they have busted a multinational drug crime organization that was responsible for importing tons of cocaine into the United States and Canada. And incredibly, they say the head of this violent crime syndicate is a former Olympic snowboarder from Canada who is still on the run. Take a listen to what U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada said at this news conference this morning.
This organization was responsible for moving literally tons of cocaine into the United States and into Canada. This group was led by an individual named Ryan Wedding. Ryan Wedding previously was an Olympic athlete for Canada, but instead of using the privileges that come with being an Olympic athlete to do good for people, he did the opposite. He chose to become a major drug trafficker, and he chose to become a killer.
Now, these are photos of suspected crime boss Ryan Wedding when he competed for Canada in the snowboarding event in Salt Lake City in 2002. Now, he didn't medal, and the FBI and the DOJ says that over the next 22 years, he embarked on a life of violent crime. The FBI says that Wedding and his accomplice named Andrew Clark ran a criminal organization that moved up to 60 tons of cocaine into the United States every year. He says they'd make the cocaine in Colombia, ship it through Mexico in long-haul trucks until it arrived in Los Angeles. Then it would go into stash houses to be distributed and sold in Canada, the East Coast, and Florida. The DOJ says they are responsible. Also, this criminal group is responsible for multiple murders of people who got in their way. They'd use cryptocurrency to launder the drug profits. And the FBI says that they've arrested two prominent members of this criminal organization locally here, one in Victorville, the other in Lake Elsinore, and others around the nation. But crucially, the boss, Ryan Wedding, remains on the run this morning. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for his capture, and the rest of his crime organization already in custody are facing sentences of up to life in prison. That is the very latest here from the desk. Kalina, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. This morning, One Direction fans are mourning the sudden loss of one of its former members. Authorities in Buenos Aires say 31-year-old Liam Payne fell from a balcony on the third floor of a hotel. Hours earlier, they responded to an emergency call about an aggressive man who, quote, could be under the influence of drugs or alcohol, destroying a hotel room as well. Preliminary reports reveal Payne jumped off the balcony. Fans have been paying tribute to the singer who's been in the process of establishing a solo singing career since One Direction broke up.
It's such shocking news in so many ways. There was always something about him that made you think, even if this is a dark phase he's going through musically or personally or whatever, there will be future chapters for him. It seemed like he had a long way to go and a lot more to give the world.
Payne is survived by his 7-year-old son with his former girlfriend. A woman is dead after being shot outside of a home in La Puente. Detectives are still trying to figure out exactly how the woman ended up in that neighborhood. They don't believe she lived there, and it's still unclear who opened fire and why. Neighbors made a 911 call after hearing people talking, then gunshots, and then the woman calling for help just before midnight. Investigators are hoping to gather more information from nearby security cameras. Also, LA has less than 4 years to get ready for the 2028 Summer Olympics, and the mayor's office is wasting no time recruiting members of the Olympic Committee from the Paris Games for advice. KCAL News reporter Cara Finstrom is in downtown LA, where the Paris delegation met with the LA team.
A delegation of Paris officials has arrived, and they are inside the downtown LA Public Library right now, offering a little help with planning the 2028 Olympics. Mayor Karen Bass says she asked them to come because of the success of the 24 Olympics in Paris. And here's a little of what we just heard.
So many of you who are here, being part of the business leadership of Los Angeles, have since before we even bid on the games, have been looking forward to the opportunities that are presented by having billions of dollars being spent on the largest event in the world.
LA City Councilman Paul Krikorian there taking part in one of a series of panel discussions. The delegation arrived in LA Monday. They will talk about everything from transit. Remember, the mayor said she's looking for a no-car Olympics, which means improvements to the metro system, as well as sustainability, accessibility, how to contract and work with businesses, and all those required city services and operations. Another big issue for LA, the ongoing crisis of unhoused individuals living on city streets and sidewalks. On these panels, talking with those Paris officials will be LA City and county leaders and staff members. Olympic projects are funded through a mix of federal and city dollars as well as various fees, but cities always hope the Olympics will be a revenue producer and not an expense. And one of the things they're talking about inside is making sure that the legacy of the upcoming Olympics is a positive one for LA. Cara Finstrom, KCAL News.
A lot to get done. All right, millions of people across the state just practiced how to drop, cover, and hold as part of the Great California Shakeout. The event, which happened at 10:17, was part of a global network of drills for earthquake safety. Officials also want to make sure people are preparing for what might happen after an earthquake as well. They stress how important it is to have things like solid shoes, gloves, even a crowbar and a hard hat under your bed. It's also critical to have a go bag ready with extra clothes, medications, first aid supplies, and cash. They're also stressing the importance of having extra food, water, and toilet paper.
Hits a drive, left field. Nimmo's going back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. It is gone.
October Kike did it again last night in Game 3 of the NLCS against the Mets. Hernandez hit his 15th career postseason homer in the 6th. Then Shohei Ohtani put the game out of reach with a 3-run homer in the 8th. LA shut out New York 8-0 and now hold a 2-1 series lead.
You know, the way Kike talks about our team having some sort of confidence when I pitch, regardless, I think is kind of really the goal for any starting pitcher.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto gets the Game 3 start tonight in New York. First pitch is at 5:08. All right, the game's not here, Paul, but, you know, a lot of people are going to be excited. Maybe they'll head out to watch it somewhere with their friends. You never know. So what are we in store for?
Weather-wise, we actually had some rain this morning, so good thing the game is not here. It's a little bit drier in New York City. Many of our locations in the Inland Empire, especially in the foothills, and also the San Gabriel Valley, got measurable rainfall today. Yucaipa, 1/10 of an inch of rain. Banning, about 1/20 of an inch of rainfall. Arcadia, Tustin, Mission Viejo, a few drips of rain, but measurable rainfall in parts of Southern California. And this camera, our highest camera in elevation, is barely above the cloud cover right now, which is prevalent just about everywhere on the ocean side of the mountains. Certainly a place like Santa Monica is going to